useless if the items that you're um, producing have no value. Nobody wants to buy them because somebody's selling them for super cheap.
Yep. And I speaking this personally, I in other games, before Vrroomway was had its inception, one of the struggles that I had with other play to earn games is early adopters having the mass majority of the market. So meaning that they held a majority of the wearables or the play to earn wearables or anything, any of the NFTs, and then that one single person dictating the whole market. And I felt like that wasn't fair, because those are things that we fight against in the real world, is like the 1% controlling everything. You know what I mean? So it just kind of replicates that same behavior. So that's why I'm personally against it as well. But yeah, it's good for us to all be on the same page with that. And speaking of claim machines, I just wanted to, this wasn't on our list, but because we're talking about claim machines and it's been an issue lately, I just want to address why the drops haven't been working sometimes. So recently there's been some huge traffic on the Polygon network that has caused Polygon Gwei or Polygon Gas to be very volatile. And originally, before this happened, Polygon Gas never really was an issue for us in our claim machines. Most of the time when the claim machine would fail, it was due to a technical error. But recently it's been failing because of the volatility of the gas. So if you're going to claim a vehicle, make sure that you just check the Polygon Gwei. And we actually added a link in our official links in the Discord of where you can track that. It just shows what the Gwei is right now. And if the high number is ever over 350, don't try and attempt to claim, because that's what we set our threshold to. Our threshold used to be 150, and so we brought it all the way up to 350 just to keep it within that graceful area, so that we can make sure that everything that gets claimed goes out. But again, if you go there and you see it, just hold off, just wait a few hours or wait a day before trying to claim. But yeah, we're slowly working the kinks out of that, and in the future we'll have a lot more machines to claim things from. So moving on to the next feature that we recently released, which was the auto dance toggle, and Doc had a huge hand in integrating this, so we're very thankful for that. And now whenever you're on the dance floor and you don't have your vehicle on, you can toggle the auto dance on and off so that you can use your own custom emotes if you wish. To piggyback off of that, something that I've been working on is adding dance emotes to all of the vehicles. So people who, like me, who prefer to always be in a vehicle, will also be able to join in on the dancing. And we'll bind that to a specific key or whatever. It won't be like a regular avatar emote. It'll just be a vehicle specific. And the first vehicle to get the dancing emote is actually going to be the vehicle that comes with our DG collab that we're doing, which we'll get into a little bit later. Doc, do you want to talk about the auto dance at all?
Yes. So that one, shout out to Madamus. I believe he's the one that wrote the script, and he sent it over, and then I integrated it with our dance floor, and then I believe NeoCyber refactored it. So it's definitely a team effort. Oh, not to mention the beautiful button that was made by you. You whipped that up really quick, actually, and I love it. I couldn't have made a better one. If I had AI on my side, I still couldn't have made a better one. So yeah, thank you for that. That's awesome.
For sure. And thanks for being an advocate for the players, because this has been a pretty heavily requested feature for a while now, especially on Friday nights. So continue to be the people's voice, and we'll continue to get these awesome features out. And you're right, it was a complete team effort. All of these updates recently have been a complete team effort, and it's been awesome to watch everybody just kind of work and own their zone and get everything out. The next one, which everybody, especially a lot of people in this chat right now and on Parcel, are aware of the new barrels. That has been the hot commodity the last week, which is amazing to watch and see. And we've pretty much got all of the bugs worked out, minus the textures. That's a me issue. I'm not really sure why the graphics are making the gold barrels orange, but they are, so I definitely need to tweak that a little bit. But other than that, they're working as intended. We've seen a lot of people farming some amazing amounts of resources. Wednesday night we had somebody who was their first time at Vrroomway, and they got up to level 8 or something like that. in one setting, like one session, which was through the whole event. So it was probably like 2.5 hours of them farming. And they got like 16k coins or something like that. So it's really cool to see, like, you know, the fruits of that labor of people being able to actually come in and play the way they want to play, because we realize that, you know, not everybody is a hardcore racer. Not everybody is going to want to be super competitive in Fuego circuits. Not everybody's going to want to be a demo derby. And so we just try to continue to provide different kind of game modes for every type of player. And I think we've kind of nailed the harvesting. And, you know, we plan to adapt that and, you know, scale it as we go. The scrapyard is still going to get a few more updates these next couple of months. And we'll get into upcoming stuff later. But, yeah, I'm really digging the barrels. It's kind of addicting. Like, there'll be times where we're in meetings or something, and I'll just go and test the barrels, and I'll end up doing it for like 30 minutes just because I get hooked on it. It's really fun. The next one, so this past Wednesday, for all of you that were here, you guys already know and already experienced it, but we released a new track, and it was in honor of the baby dolls and the whole Wag Me Wednesday. And we really wanted to, for a while now at least, try to create some type of flight simulation within the Fuego circuit, so that it's not just all ground maps, you're not just always on a road. And so this was the first time we were able to achieve that. It required a little bit of tech heaviness with manipulating what we already have as the base foundation for that game mode, and just altering some of the variables and adding more parts of the skybox, which the skybox is always adapting, as we've seen over the last few months. But now that we're able to achieve space, then that opens up the door for sky maps. I mean, really anything. We could do tunnels, we can do portals, we can do all kinds of things now, because we've got that infrastructure figured out now. So I'm really, really excited to see where this goes. You know,
and for anyone that hasn't tried that track yet, that one is literally you're flying through space, and that's a really cool new one for us. Nikki, how was that achieved?
So basically we had to, when Fuego Circuits first came out, there was only a skybox that consisted of 4 walls, and then the top panel was just like a neutral blue color. But over the last few months, we've adapted it by making the walls the same dimension, and then also adding a tiling system to the actual top ceiling part. And that actually just got finished a couple weeks ago. And I remember just doing a Fuego Circuits once, and I was like, if we're in like 3/4 of a box, why can't we just add like another layer underneath and create like a bottom, if you will, and then make the road like transparent or something like that? And at first it was really, really difficult, but then once Will and I put our heads together, we were able to figure out a workaround around it. And now we can, like I said, have a transparent road, so you can see everything below you, you can see everything to the side of you. With this new track, I put like a couple galaxies and stuff below the map, so it looks like you're flying over things, so that not everything's just on the sides. And we're still working with like the seams, because it is a box, there's corners, but we're trying to adapt it eventually in the future to be a sphere, so that it'll be really immersive, so you can't really see any seams, and it really looks like it's infinite directions all around you. It just takes time to work out that kind of stuff, especially with the renderer, because it's rendering everything every frame, so really every second. So sometimes it's a little bit hard on the performance, and it took a lot of trial and erroring to figure out what was a good poly count size on the decorations and stuff, because whenever you have that transparent road, you're rendering, the graphics at least is rendering more below you. And there's kind of like this optical illusion that's happening, and it's processing more because there's like I said, things below, on the sides, and on top. So there was a little bit of a balancing act that went into that, but ultimately we achieved something really, really cool. And like I said, I can't wait to see how we adapt it. One of the ways that I plan on, this is just a little pre-alpha, but with our season 2, our competitive season 2 that's coming up, that whole theme is water. And so I plan on doing like an underwater track, and trying to figure out how to get that illusion going. And I think if we can achieve that, then the sky's the limit, literally.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite part about watching you create all these tracks too. Is you're kind of engineering it a little bit. You're kind of pushing the boundaries, breaking limits. Is there anything that you've experimented with that like didn't work?
Vertical. I have tried so many ways to try to get the because the way that
like driving up and down hills. Right?
Yes, yeah, like changing the incline of where the character's at, because Fuego Circuits, you aren't your normal character size. So anybody who's in the main entrance has always seen people like float up to the sky whenever they join a Fuego Circuits, and they're kind of like all piled into one spot. And that's because the cars are basically using the avatar's head as like a camera perspective, and then we like hide everything and put you guys in a box and kind of create this illusion that you're on this track when it's kind of like a miniature set, if you could think of it that way. So everything is rendered in a one axis, or if you could think of it as like a 2D plane. So you're only rendering frontwards and backwards, and instead of the character moving around the environment's actually moving around you. And getting that to work two directions, I should say, is hard enough, but getting it to go up and down as well is a whole other set of issues and challenges when it comes to rendering those items and rendering the coordinates, because everybody that is an avid Fuego Circuits player knows that all of the tracks are the same curve, meaning that like all the turns are the same on every map, and that's basically due to the complexity of how it's pulling those coordinates and creating that track. It's really hard to get another set of a track to work with those coordinates because there's so many bugs that come with it. It's something I've been working with our devs for months to try to debug and figure out. And I think we're almost there. It's just a time issue of trying to debug all the issues and figure out why it's not pulling those. But I have a feeling that once we get over the hurdle of different curves and different coordinates to create different turns and such, then we can probably start making a lot more progress on the verticalness. Because if we can create a track that goes up, down, left, right, forward, and back, then again, going back to what I said earlier about the sky maps, it opens up a whole world of possibility and creativity, and even really like more of an immersion in the story and like what you're doing on the racetracks. It's a very complicated problem to solve.
Yeah, no, it takes a lot of creativity, and you're kind of doing a lot at the same time while you're doing all that.
Yeah, and nobody else is using this technology too. Like, that's an important thing to point out, because usually with Decentraland stuff, there's, an example of something somewhere. Like, most of the time people aren't creating things for the first time. However, this Decentraland technology, Infinity Engine, we're the real first use case of it, and really the only ones that are still using it in this way, and trying to adapt it and grow it from there. So it's all things we're learning for the first time and learning for the platform for the first time.
Definitely. Yeah, and it's cool to see you customize it too. Like, the Fungal Jungle track was my previous favorite before this Wagby track. But like, yeah, when you were when you had the plants and the shrubbery that would kind of fall onto the track, that was like the hot new thing. And now we've got transparent tracks to give us, the illusion of being in the sky. I want to push forward a little bit, and before we get to digging for alpha, and I know a lot of people are waiting to find out some information on this DG collab, but before we get there, I want to bring up a super important new feature that kind of has changed play to earn gaming for me, in terms of Vrroomway, and I hope that we will get features like this in other games, and that is the vehicle hot swapping. Can you tell us a little bit about the vehicle hot swapping?
Yeah, so anybody who's been in Decentraland for a long time knows that sometimes when you're trying to change wearables, there's issues with the backpack. And, that made a big hindrance on, players who had vehicles, because the vehicles are tied to skins. And so before, like last month and the months before, in order to change a vehicle or to get your stats equipped, you would have to be wearing a specific wearable. And then most of the time, even if you equip the wearable, you would have to refresh to have your stats updated. And I know myself, I got sick and tired of it, because it just shouldn't be that way. Like, there's no reason it should be that way. And in any other game that you have multiple characters or multiple vehicles or anything like that, you're able to hot swap them in real time and the stats update in real time. So I just was trying to figure out a way to achieve that so that we could mimic that behavior and get a better user experience. And finally, after some brainstorming, we were able to come up with this new inventory system. So the game still scans for your wearable and makes sure that the wearable is in your wallet, but you no longer have to go to the DCL backpack and equip that wearable. You can just open up the inventory and you'll see immediately your list of vehicles that you've unlocked via owning the wearable that goes with that vehicle. And simply just by clicking on those vehicles, you can hot swap. And if you're in the recharge right now, you can see me hot swapping from vehicle to vehicle. And I always love watching people hot swap. I think it's so cool just watching them change their vehicle, especially when they go up from the level 1 to a level 3, just seeing it kind of like evolve right in front of your eyes. And not only does that update your vehicle in real time, but it also updates your stats in real times. Now there's some bugs that we're still working through because this was a huge overhaul from our previous system and the way the whole engine works with stats and bonuses. But so far, like, we've squashed pretty much the majority of those bugs, and it just allows for players to have more control over their gameplay. And like I said, whatever vehicle they feel like wearing that day, just like with clothes, they can just switch it on a dime. And once we figured out like how it worked and how to get the foundation going, the rest of it was smooth sailing. And now, like, it's totally worth all that time because I'm literally just cycling through all of my vehicles here and watching my stats upgrade and being able to compare between vehicles and stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah, for me, it's all about min-maxing my time and hopping parcel to parcel to get my dailies done. And when I have to switch all these outfits, I mean, it was always easier for us because it was just a skin. But, like, some of these other games, especially Wondermind, like, I'm going through every slot looking for and it's Decentraland. It's the bag system, the inventory system. It's not very convenient, and I know they're working on it. I know literally as we speak, they're developing a really awesome system to combat that. I've heard that wearable presets, outfit presets is going to be a thing, so I can click a button and put on my Wondermind gear, click a button, put on my Knights of Antrim gear, and that's what I want. But in the meantime, I really love that our devs took this upon themselves to make this happen on our parcel, because this is very game changing for me. I come on parcel and I'm still wearing all my Knights of Antrim gear, and I just swap onto my my fastest vehicle. For those that have, let's say, the the Wonder Vroom from the Wonder Mindset, that one has a high gathering bonus. So let's say you're hitting the new barrels, getting like really good buffs on your bonus XP and bonus drops. But then when you go to Fuego Circuits, you're not keeping up because those ones don't have speed boosts. And again, we're working on speed boosts for all vehicles, but as of today, those vehicles don't have speed boosts. So let's say that you want to switch over to your level 3 hovercraft that you've earned. Those have speed boosts. So again, swapping to it real quick, getting some of that fuel spent, and then hop into another parcel and getting on with my play to earn career. I love it. Yeah. So thanks again for getting on them and putting in work yourself to making this one happen.
Yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite updates. Just because, like, I too also like to see whenever I'm collecting things. Like, I'm a huge mount person when it comes to video games like MMORPGs and stuff. If there's ever mounts or rideables, I'm the first one to get in line to try to collect those. And so I like to be able to see my collection, and before I could only see my collection of skins. So even just an aspect of being able to see what I have and what I've unlocked is really cool too.
Right, yeah, it's like looking at your whole binder of Pokemon cards. Sometimes you just gotta go through it.
Exactly. That's a great reference. Okay.
Okay, so now I gotta bug you about the alpha.
Yep. Which one do you want to start with?
Tell us what you can tell us about DG, please.
Okay, so DG, we're doing a wearable and vehicle collab with them. That's it. That's all I can tell you. I'm just kidding.
Okay, I'm going home.
Yeah, so just a quick recap for those who don't know or haven't heard yet. On March 3rd, we're going to be doing an exclusive airdrop with our new partner, DG, Decentral Games, / Ice Poker. And they have created a skin, and we have created a vehicle to go hand in hand. Their skin will be a sit-and-go wearable for their tournaments. And we are also going to be hosting a Vrroomway specific tournament with them. We're just finalizing the date and times with them, and we'll be making an announcement about that soon. And most sit-and-go wearables have 9 shine on them, but this one's going to come with 3 extra ones, so it's going to have 12 shine total for the sit-and-go tournament. And then, of course, the vehicle that is equipped with it. This is the first Vroom Vroom with actual wheels. It's still technically a hover car because it's got that hover suspension underneath, but it does have wheels that actually rotate like a proper car. And that was really fun to make because, you know, all of the other vehicles have been strictly thrusters and stuff like that. So it was nice to create something different and something new. And that vehicle will come with a 12% speed boost, which is a tier 4 level. And it's going to have a 10% coin bonus, which is a huge coin bonus. Because, you know, it's poker. It's all about getting them with coins and gems. So, and then also a 5% experience bonus. So this is going to be a really, really hot one to get. This is going to be a 1,000 mint. So we're going to do an exclusive airdrop on the 3rd. And then whatever's left over, we're going to list on the marketplace. And I can't give away exactly too much information of how you're going to get this. But if you've been active decently at all throughout the month of February, you're going to get one. I would encourage these last few days that we have in February to get your hours in if you haven't. And on the 3rd, you might wake up to a surprise airdrop. And these, like I said, these ones are going to be really, really special because being able to partner with Decentral Games in one of their new aspects, and then one of our new aspects, which is adding speed boost to all vehicles. So this will be an opportunity for people to get a speed boost that is a little bit better than the hover cars, and you don't have to spend any of your resources for it. It'll just be a free drop if you've played enough.
Wait a minute. You went over that really fast, so I got to bring up a question. Okay, wait. You said it's epic instead of legendary, so it's 1,000 mint.
Yep.
And the perks are pretty beast, so it's comparable to the level 3 hover car, the one that we're all working hard to craft. Now, so most of our players are gonna get this one as long as they're playing, so we definitely made it fair. We definitely didn't want to crush the value of these hover cars. But the hover cars are still a little bit better. Is that correct?
Absolutely, because this Vroom Vroom does not come with any gathering or fuel efficiency. The only thing that it is better at, technically, is the 2% faster speed boost. These hover cars do not... they only go up to 10% for the level 3, and then they have the 10% fuel efficiency, which gives you cheaper fuel costs. So you're not paying max fuel for racing and stuff like that, or even gathering. And then it also has a gathering bonus. So for people who are really harvesting and getting those materials, you're still better off to use the hover car over the Diamond Vroom. The Diamond Vroom is for people who are really trying to hit the racetrack and collect coins and collect those first places. So yeah, and to point out what you had said, we really tried to make this fair, so that anybody who is, you know, active, like I said, I keep saying active, it's a hint, anybody who is active throughout this month and these next 4 days will get this completely for free. And this is the first free airdrop that we've done, like a free mass airdrop of a vehicle, so that's why I'm really encouraging the word active, because these kind of opportunities don't come around very often. And this was, like I said, a very specific and a very special one, which is why we're doing a free airdrop. But if you do miss it and you weren't active and you couldn't play for whatever reason, you will be able to buy it on the marketplace as well.
And we are firing up the multi-account scanner. So if you're thinking you're gonna grab 5 or 10 or 20 with all your wallets, we're gonna stop you. No hard feelings, but yeah, with the snapshot, it will be screening for multi-accounts. So keep that in mind. But it won't be too challenging. Get out there and play. Get a few levels. Get some coins. Get some stuff done. And you'll definitely get one.
Yep. And I just want to reiterate that this will be a legacy vehicle. So legacy vehicles are all of our tier 4 vehicles. And the reason that they are legacy is because they are kind of like the vehicles that are monumental milestones within our journey as Vrroomway. And they're not craftable. So they're only exclusive claims. So that's why we make them a little bit, just a little bit better in some areas, but not overall shattering the previous craftable ones, but it gives it something special and gives it more of a reason to be a part of that exclusive drop.
Plus, it looks incredible. You really knocked it out of the park with the design of the vehicle. It's kind of got a little bit of Rolls-Royce vibes, but a little futuristic, huh?
Yeah, I really wanted to channel that, because DG is all about trying to get a crown and a scepter and those ice wearables, like the actual play to earn wearables. And I've always looked at ice poker as the pristine, classy, really showing out some drip. And so I knew that the vehicle had to be that boss status. And so nothing says boss more than a Rolls Royce, a really pimped out one. And so I just gave it a more futuristic cyberpunk vibe to it. And obviously it's got that diamond emblem on the front, which also animates. And just because I'm feeling I want to drop some cool stuff, I'm actually going to drop the dance animation in the chat for everybody to see.
Okay, sick. Nice. Tease it a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's funny because ice poker is all about money and winning. So it's perfect that this car gets a really big coin bonus and a speed bonus. That's absolutely perfect for that kind of a lifestyle. The look definitely is appealing to that kind of a lifestyle. I can't wait to get one of these myself.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome seeing this on the track, and even more awesome just seeing it flex on the dance floor. I can't wait for that. Okay, I just posted it in the Vrroomway Discord general chat. You'll see 3 animations. It's the dance animation, the go animation, and the idle animation. And like I said, this is the first Vroom Vroom to receive a dance-specific animation that will be triggerable through just a button that you press. And yes, and because of the global avatar swap, people will be able to see you dancing. So it's not just for you, it's for you to show off too. I'm so excited for that because I love being able to express myself, and just having another avenue to do that, it just really excites me. I can't wait.
So vehicle emotes, is that gonna be something for all vehicles, or is that something only for this vehicle?
So it's definitely going to be for all vehicles. This was just a perfect opportunity to put that out there and to start implementing that. I think the next vehicles to receive it are going to be the uniques, just because they deserve it. They're the champions of Vrroomway, so they're going to get it. Then we'll put it with the mythics, and then we'll just go down the tier list from there. We'll start with tier 6 and go all the way down to tier 1. And like I said, everybody will have the same button bound to it, and whatever vehicle you're in eventually will have a dance emote. So that way on Friday nights we can have both avatars dancing if you want to dance, but if you want to pop into that hover car and get them hydraulics going and dancing on the dance floor, then you could do that too. We're really trying to provide an experience for every type of player, and that's kind of what this goes into.
I love it, and we're trying a lot of cool stuff out here. Before we move any further, I do want to take this time to let everyone know that we are doing a giveaway tonight. We had a few extra of the WAGMI set. I believe we've got 5. Yes, we've got 5 we've got exactly 15 minutes before it ends, so go sign up for that. You'll get the full set, and we aren't doing any of the referral entries tonight. But go sign up for that. 15 minutes left.
Amazing. And that set was made by Doki. So, Doki has been making all of our skin wearables here at Vrroomway, with the exception of the DG one. DG made that one themselves. But yeah, she did an amazing job with those. It's now my new favorite helmet, even over my one of one unique that I made for myself. She always does this. She always makes things that are better than my uniques, and I never wear them anymore.
I think I'm gonna have to ask her to make the helmet male compatible as well, because I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind having some pigtails. But yes, this set was designed for the female body type only. But yeah, maybe we can get a little update on that helmet.
Yeah. Never know. Might just have to ask nicely. And last of the big updates is, we ended our season 1 earlier this month, and congrats again to Supernova for winning first place. And just kind of a little circling back to the transparency, we did, because of this new multi-account system that we have in place in the sniffer to be able to sniff out the multi-accounts, we did actually disqualify a few players because they were getting multiple times on the leaderboard in multiple slots, and that goes against all of our rules and what we want to do and what we want the players to achieve and experience in this game. So to make it fair, we did disqualify those. It didn't matter though, because Supernova and Pablo were neck and neck the whole time, and Supernova won by one qualifying point, which was really cool to see because it was that close. And we learned a lot from that season, a lot. And so season 2 is going to be way better. It's going to be way more competitive now because of all the things that we learned and the rules that we're changing and stuff. And we'll have a specific AMA about that season before we launch it. And yeah, I'm really excited for that one. I guess we can start talking about what we have in the pipeline coming up. So, do you want to talk a little bit about the new solo sprint tournament that we're going to spin up here in a little bit?
Oh yeah, big changes coming. So the first solo sprint tournament was amazing. I got to wake up every morning to DJ Tracks. I don't know, he hits a track like every morning at the same time. It's like his coffee routine or something. And ever since we haven't had that tournament going on, he hasn't been there every day at the same time. So I'm excited for DJ Tracks to be coming through again. But I think the biggest change is the win structure that we're setting up. We had a lot of fun figuring out who can get the best time. I mean, it's hard. There's a lot of factors that rely that I guess are important when trying to go for a good time. A lot of it is hardware. I've heard that having a really robust system helps. Using the client, I've heard helps. But then from there, it's things like also settings. I accidentally had I changed my settings recently for a picture or something, and I had my ambient occlusion turned back on, and it is very taxing. And so I was lagging a lot this whole week. I had it on for days, and I had no idea. My frame rate was dropped pretty low. But yeah, that was something that I experienced, and I figured it out, and I turned it off, and everything was better. So like, turning your settings down might help too, but from there, it's all about technique. It's about Doki taught us it's about sticking to the walls as much as you can. M taught us that at the very end of the tornado, you can run up that last wall to shave a second off. So yeah, there's some really cool time-saving techniques for solo sprints, but we're kind of past that. Like if you couldn't get the number 1 spot, so we went through 10 weeks and you couldn't win twice. So we kind of went down, towards the bottom of the leaderboard by the time that, the contest was over. But this time we're going to do it a little bit different. It's not going to be exactly performance based. It will be, of course, but not hardcore. So all you're gonna need to do is each week we're gonna clear the leaderboard. You're gonna need to come out and do your best solo sprint time. But all you need to do is get on the leaderboard. If you get the slowest time, which there's a pretty big difference. I think getting the fastest time is roughly around a minute 28. Getting to the bottom, I've seen people get on at 1:39. So it really doesn't take that much to get on. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a wheel spin. Again, we're gonna do it so that you can't win twice. So if you were on there and you got spun and you already won during that tournament, you're not gonna win again, and we're gonna re-roll. But this should make it a lot more fun for a wider audience, because we do want it to be performance based. This is a performance based game, but it shouldn't be so hardcore to the point where, like, if you just can't squeeze in those seconds, or your computer's melting your your desk. We want everyone to have fun a little bit, so we're gonna try something a little bit different. If this works, we'll stick with it. If we change it again for the next one, that's fine too. But yeah, definitely let us know what you think of it. But that's what we're gonna try coming up.
Yeah, and to bounce off that, it's really like, we've always said that solo sprints is kind of like our training grounds for the game. So it's to get you oriented with your either your avatar or your vehicle, to get you acclimated with the movement, with the WSD movement, and really like putting you under the pressure under time, so that when you do go to the other game modes like Demo Derby or Fuego Circuits, you're kind of like revved up for it and you're ready. And that's even more important with the upcoming game modes that we're going to be releasing in a couple months. So yeah, I'm really excited to spin up those tournaments again. Yeah, I presume that we will probably do a similar wearable that we did with the season 1, where it was those exclusive trophies. I thought that was really cool. And it's really cool to see people rocking those and being able to stack them with their vehicle to get those bonuses. But yeah, so that's coming up. Another thing that is coming up soon is missions. So missions is about, I would say, probably 85% done. I actually have to do some testing on it after this AMA. But basically what that's going to entail is we're going to have a campaign storyline where our NPCs are finally going to get some function and get some dialogue, which is going to be really cool to see, kind of bring them to life. And you get to kind of go through the whole spaceship, I should say, that is Vrroomway, and learn about the whole thing from start to finish. And then if you manage to complete the campaign, you get a free beta wings, and it'll just be airdropped to you upon completion of the campaign. And then if you unlock, or if you complete campaigns, you will unlock daily missions. Now, daily missions, guys, is where the rewards are going to be. You're going to get a lot of coins and a lot of experience, not only for doing the dailies, but for completing all 3 of them each day. If you complete 3 each day, then you get a bonus, which is pretty much double what you would get from just doing the 3 dailies. And we have a list of about 20 to 25 that players can cycle through. For the first initial rollout, everybody will receive the same dailies every day. It'll just be randomly picked, those 3, and then everybody will have those 3 for the day. So that should help with, like, if there are some Demo Derby ones, then you won't be the only one that are trying to achieve the Demo Derby dailies. So yeah, but eventually over time we can make it more dynamic and adaptive to what we have going on. But I'm really excited for that, because it's gonna, obviously create more rewards, but also give a little bit more things to do, and kind of challenge you guys a little bit. There's some dailies on there that are pretty good, and if you can't just like AFK and finish the dailies and get the rewards, you got to try a little bit. So again, I'm excited to see how that goes.
Well, I mean, it gives a little bit of direction.
Sure.
I know personally, I really loved daily challenges, and that's for any game. The one that really hit the most for me was probably Destiny, patrolling the moon. Like you would have, so without those challenges, like there would be no purpose, right? So like, and it was not like the core game like style. There were other things for you to do, but sometimes you would just go there and you just vibe out and you just do what it tells you to do. So for me personally, having that, I know Knights of Antrim has a system like that that just came out recently, and for me, it's so cool because, of course, I'm doing what I'm gonna do, but sometimes it's really cool to have an additional, just kind of challenge or just direction. So I think that there are going to be a lot of other players like me that really like that feature. But something that I want to talk about too is I've worked really hard. I play every day. I just recently minted the last level 3, what is it, brute. And now we're going to be getting a whole bunch of materials and stuff from all these missions. What else am I going to be spending it on? I'm obviously I could keep, making cars, but there's going to be something else to spend some of these materials on, isn't there, Nick?
Yes. So we are introducing shortly after missions and the shop release, which I'll get to the shop in a second. We're going to be introducing another component to the scrapyard. The scrapyard's gotten a lot of buffs recently, and it's about to get another buff, which is going to be a crafting station, and it's completely separate from the wearable claim machines. We really wanted to embrace that whole crafting mechanism because, claiming a vehicle is kind of like instant. Whereas, like, whenever you craft things in real life or in any game, it's not really instant. You know what I mean? So we've kind of adapted the claim machines to be like you're turning it. You're basically buying the vehicles with those materials and stuff. Whereas this new crafting table, which if you're in the reach or the scrapyard enough, you've probably already seen it. It's actually on the floor above the claim machines, and it's a little 3D printer. That will soon get some function. And you'll be able to craft power-ups, which is another thing that's coming. We're going to be creating power-ups for each game mode. So each game mode is going to receive 2 to start with, and they can only be used in those game modes. And some of them have to do with projectiles. Some of them have to do with, like, I guess a good comparison would be like Mario Kart cubes. Whenever you pick them up, it like randomizes through either a buff or a debuff for somebody else. Similar things like that we're going to be doing, and you'll be able to purchase them with coins from Crystal, and actually not from Crystal, but from the vending machines that are in the main recharge. If you've noticed, we have like a new food court area, and those vending machines that are in that food court area will soon sell these power-ups. They're going to be a little pricey, but if you don't want to spend your coins on that, you can spend your materials and craft them in the scrapyard. With that, we're going to be releasing 2 new materials. It's going to be a tier 4 and a tier 5, which is a blue and a purple. So they're going to be really rare if you're not harvesting barrels and spending your fuel that way. But they're going to be a little bit harder to get, and those will be used in tandem with the rest of your current materials to create these power-ups. And every power-up is going to have a different duration of how long it takes to craft. So like a lower tiered power-up will take maybe like 30 minutes to craft. So you'll start crafting it, and then you'll see a timer that shows 30 minutes, and after that 30 minutes you can come back and claim it. And some of them you can craft 3 at a time, like they come in a stack of 3. Others that are more powerful will only come in a stack of 1. And something that I'm excited about is I know that whenever I'm crafting in games, I want to be able to craft as many as I can so that I can turn around and like sell them or do whatever I want with them. But you'll be able to purchase additional crafting tables or additional 3D printers, if you will. So instead of having 1, you could have up to 3, and you can craft 3 things at one time. So one of the reasons why we want to create that is because eventually we're going to have peer-to-peer transactions. So I'll be able to go up to Doc, initiate a trade, and I'll trade him, 20k coins for some power-ups or for some materials or whatever we want to trade. And so this is the first step in that economy, is being able to craft these power-ups and either sit on them, use them in the game modes to get better rewards, or to secure your place in first place in those Fuego Circuits laps, or being able to eliminate everybody in Demo Derby, or just holding on to them and selling them to other players whenever they want.
That's a big one. Peer trading. Hold up. Okay. Because Pablo is not going to need these power ups.
Yeah.
Supernova, he's not going to need those speed boosts. So he's going to be getting rid of those. And people like me, who's a little bit are going to be using coins to maybe stock up on those.
Yep.
So yeah, that's really big. Are we going to be able to trade like other materials too?
Yeah, so the first step in that with the crafting is also Crystal Coin is going to be receiving a function where she will basically, she's going to be a vendor. So if you want to sell your excess materials, like let's say you have a crap ton of metal and you don't have anything to do with it, then you can go to Crystal Coin and you can choose how much ever you want to sell, and she'll trade you coins for the materials. Or if you need some extra materials to craft a vehicle or to craft one of the power-ups, then you can buy the materials from her. So she has a duality in that sense that, you know, you could buy or sell those materials from her. And then eventually, once we have the peer-to-peer, you'll be able to trade anything. Like if I wanted to buy some propulsion off of you and wanted to trade some, I don't know, either power-ups or coins or whatever I wanted to trade with you, we could do that in-game. So if you want to sell your excess materials,
I love it. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, it's really going to bridge again that sociability to be able to interact with the players more, but also like create this other economy, because we have a pretty robust economy right now with the vehicles on secondary market, but being able to create an economy around these materials that everybody are crafting, those people who are harvesting like all the time, and I see you guys and I appreciate you guys because it's awesome, but you guys are going to be the source for the newbies that are coming in and need materials to buy and want to claim and don't want to have to spend the time harvesting. You guys are going to be the people that they go to. So keep harvesting if that's what you're doing, because it will pay off. But yeah, I'm really excited for the shop because I myself have excess materials and stuff, because, you know, Doc and I both try to play this game pretty fairly and legitly to make sure that we're emulating the player experience, so that if there are things that, you know, happen that are negative, then we catch it. Typically we catch it before the players do, but, you know, oftentimes the players point things out to us. But yeah, it's really cool to be able to have that bridge between us and the community.
Amazing. And before we go on any further, and before we start to wrap up, actually, I just wanted to announce that we have our winners of the entire WAGMI Vroom set: Nienmayo, Future Ghost, Gel X Rose, Billy T Coin, and Cammy. Congrats! Please open a support ticket, and we'll get you set up.
Congrats, guys. And we are going a little bit over our time this week, but I feel like there's things that we need to talk about. So if everybody's got a few more minutes, we've just got a few more things that we're going to go through. One of those things is a mini game that we have in the works. This is something that I have been brainstorming literally since Vrroomway's inception, especially when I first created the Recharge as our nightclub. I wanted to be able to create an arcade machine that people can just go up to and just, you know, just like if you're at the club or at an arcade, you just go up, throw some coins in, and play a little mini game. It's not that serious, it's not that competitive, but it's, you know, another thing to do and another cool thing. And we're actually going to be creating our own DDR mini game. So there's been a few iterations of this in Decentraland before at like Pillar events and stuff. I think Polygonal Mind did one, and a few other projects did one too. But basically, you'll be able to... Where am I getting background music from? Do you hear background music?
On Parcel.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, sorry, I was getting really distracted with that. But it's going to be a little arcade machine that you can go up to, and it'll initiate a 2D UI that will be a DDR version, so you'll use your arrow keys to play a rhythm game, basically. And in that, you'll be able to get free emotes, like emotes that we're going to make and publish. We're not going to sell them on the marketplace. We're literally just going to load it into that machine. And eventually there'll be some wearables that you can claim through that and stuff for free. They won't have any perks or anything like that, but just like free things that people can collect and just spend a little bit of coins doing so. So that's in the work. We also have, I can't say too much information yet, but Vrroomway will have a presence of some sort for Fashion Week. And for those of you who follow me on Twitter, you know that I am putting together my own fashion show. And it will be in the Neoplaza Fashion District this year, which is really awesome. I can't wait. We are going to be featuring some of our community designers. We've got Malloy with Fika Cafe. We've got Dabcraft. We've got DG. We've got Dr. Drip. We've got Doki. And a few others that we've got signed up, and basically showing off some of their, previous amazing wearables, but also some new exclusive Fashion Week wearables. We're going to be doing some after parties for that fashion show with Vrroomway, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be really, really awesome. This is the first time that I have built and coded an experience all by myself, and it's been very challenging. But it's really cool because, everything that I do on the side helps me with direction with Vrroomway and getting inspiration and being able to learn new and better stuff and better techniques to integrate into the game, so that we can always improve and move forward with it. So I'm really excited about that. As soon as we know more and it gets closer, we'll definitely be announcing it in the Discord first, what you can expect for Fashion Week. But be sure to put that on your calendar. It's March 28th through the 31st. And there will be an official agenda in game on the places board and stuff, kind of like there was last year if you were here. There was like a little section that you could scroll through and teleport to each venue. But yeah, so really excited for that. Like I said, we've got season 2 coming up, and it's called the Tidebreaker. It's going to be all water themed, and the helmet is going to have an aquatic theme to it as well. And this one's really cool because, and I think Brandon will really like this one, but it's going to be themed after a octopus. So there's definitely going to be some unique animations and stuff that'll go with it. So I'm really, really excited about that one. Yeah, he's showing off his tattoo now. But yeah, I'm really, really excited for that one. I've been working on that vehicle for a few weeks now. But yeah, and like I said earlier, we're going to have different criteria and different rule sets for how Season 2 is going to operate, but I promise you guys it's going to be much different than Season 1, and I would say more balanced, because it was fair, but it'll definitely be more balanced this time around. So really, anybody will have a shot at this, and I promise you do not want to pass it up, because it's totally worth it to have the one of one, because you're literally the only one in the game who has that vehicle and will ever have that vehicle. And we got a little bit of that with this new avatar swap. Everybody was finally able to see Roachkilla's purple saucer on Wednesday, which was so cool to see. And then also Supernova showed up for a little bit in his Flames In vehicle. And it's the whole goal is to work your way up to being good enough to claim one of those one of ones and be one of the champions of Vrroomway. So I'm really excited for Season 2. I also love water and anything ocean related, beach related, anything like that I love. So it's going to be right up my alley with inspiration and stuff. Really excited for the aquatic map that's going to be coming with that. Yeah. And I think that is it for the immediate pipeline that's coming up. I mean, we've got things planned for the next 4 months, so wow, that's nowhere near the end of the barrel.
We
but
definitely covered a lot here.
Yeah.
I feel like there's definitely more we could share, but I think we should share save a little bit for next time. When are we going to be doing another AMA?
So we decided to do AMAs every single month, and typically they will fall on the last Friday of the month. Next month will be a little tricky because of Fashion Week. The last Friday of that month is the last day of Fashion Week, so we may or may not do an AMA. It's to be determined. If we do an AMA, it might be the week before on the 24th, but we just have to figure out some of the timelines and stuff, and what time the events are and stuff on the 31st before we can make that decision. But you can expect to have an AMA every single month now. And we did this because we have so much going on and so many things pumping out. So yeah, definitely stay tuned with that. And if you can't make the AMAs, a great place to look for all these updates is, number one, our Discord announcements channel. I am trying to put together patch notes every time we do a huge release. And you'll actually see, if everybody looks on their screen right now in game, next to the home teleport button, you can see version 1.11. So that will tell you like what version or what patch we're on. So you can always keep up to date. And if you see that change, then you know that there's something you need to go look and see what's different. If you want more detailed explanations, then you would look for our governance proposal. We do project updates that are pretty thorough there. And they have a bunch of details. Sometimes we post links and pictures and stuff like that. But yeah, there's multiple places for you guys to keep up to date. We're constantly trying to make sure that we're communicating all these things, because we do know that it's a lot. And, you know, Vrroomway has changed a lot since August, but more recently, these last few weeks, I think we've put out more changes in the last few weeks than we have in a few months. So definitely stay up to date on all that's being posted, so you can always know what's going on.
Right. I think last month was a little bit slower too, because there was a lot of refactoring, which is like an iceberg. We see a little bit on top, but there's a lot going on underneath the surface. So it's cool that that's past us now, and we've got some big changes coming up that people are going to see. Racers are going to be able to provide some input, give us some direction, some feedback. So we're looking forward to that. Is there anything else? I guess we gotta open up for questions. Does anyone have any questions for us? About what we've been doing, about what we've talked about tonight, about anything. Any questions at all? Just jump up here, or type in general, or in-game, or whatever. And if we don't have any, we'll start to close out. But otherwise, yeah, let's talk. Great to have everyone here. Thank you so much for being here.
You hear me?
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Hey.
Let's go, fam. Okay, obviously, guys, sorry, 1 second, but I am goddamn it, by the way, in Vrroomway.
Yes.
I just went to the marriage, guys, because yesterday I waited 2 hours. So right now I'm on the marriage and I'm listening to you in Discord.
On the marriage? The what?
Yeah. Taco
Yes,
Bell.
there is marriage on Taco Bell, you know?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Nice.
Yeah, so anyways. So first of all, thanks because I won the Clone X, so I have to thank you, obviously.
Oh my gosh, congrats.
I won the Clone X. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's amazing.
Clone X.
Nice, that's amazing.
And obviously, yes, I also hope I win the essential games, because you understand what I mean. Like I played every day. Maybe I jumped a few, but I played every day since December. Since I started playing, do you understand? So.
Nice.
Okay, so my feedback to the game, at this point, I just said the feedback, okay? So number one, the most problematic, I think I would say is, like, for example, when you lag and you go out of the race, and, like, you can go back.
Yep. Yeah, so you're talking about in Fuego circuits.
Yeah.
Yep. So that has been an issue more recently, and we've narrowed it down to it being a catalyst issue. So what that means is whenever we upload content to Decentraland, i.e. the scene, or any of our game experiences or anything like that, it goes through a catalyst server that renders it onto the platform, and for you guys to experience. And unfortunately, sometimes it gets clogged up with the Infinity engine, because it is such a unique technique. And like I said, there aren't very many people using it. I think there's only maybe 3 projects on the whole platform that are utilizing this technology. And I would say that Vrroomway is probably the one that's utilizing it the most and getting the most activity out of it, and kind of pushing those boundaries a little bit. But it is something that our devs are constantly looking at and trying to figure out ways that we can get around that loading issue. We have noticed that...
I personally think that if you like makes just for example like only a button that takes you like to let's just say even to the initial like to the starting, right? So you don't like, for example, I make 2 laps and then you understand, I go out. But like, let's just say I have 3 minutes left, I can still finish the race. Do you understand? I only need like to get back into the race, even if it's lagging. Do you understand? Like just have, for example, like a button, so I don't lose and I have to refresh every time. Do you understand?
Yep, and I was going to say, one of the ways that we're trying to adapt it to put in some kind of fix is we're trying to create a trigger box that whenever you go outside of the track edge, that the game registers that and teleports you back to the middle of the track. It's a little bit hard to integrate because, again, the way that the environment is moving, those walls are constantly being rendered and unrendered every frame as you move forward. And so we're just trying to figure, it's in the works and we're pretty much almost there. It's just fine tuning some of the bugs to get it to make sure it catches you every single time. Because this is something we've been trying to fix for months now. And we figure since we can't fix the catalyst, we've got to figure out creative solutions. So that's one of our creative solutions to help with that. So hopefully that'll come out within the next few weeks.
Okay, thank you. I mean, obviously, I would say another thing. Probably, I mean, it's a minor thing, really, but it's like in the scrapyard, like Barrett's, their color is very like dark.
Yep.
You understand?
Yep.
So if we would make it just more light, do you understand? More.
Yep, that's something that I'm having an issue with the textures. I don't know why those barrels specifically are rendering in different colors, because everything else that I export and import is rendering just fine. So I think I probably just need to scrap those textures play on words, scrapyard. But I just need to scrap those textures altogether and create new ones for them. But yeah, that is something I'm working on as well.
Yeah, the old ones had a really nice green glow to them. And also, I want to comment on the lag as well. It's something that I've noticed specifically the past 3, maybe 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was told it's the Catalyst server, which I don't know a whole lot about. I know it has nothing to do with realms, but what I noticed is when it started kicking us over to the Heimdallr realm, however you pronounce that one. When it started kicking us over there, that's when I started realizing I was lagging a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I started watching my settings a bit more, because I never really used to care about my settings. It always used to run fine until a month or 2 ago.
These really present themselves. Like eventually, they just say like, I can do, for example, like change browser, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I like because I use more than one browser. Because even right now, like Jan said, like the launcher is not working. Like I cannot access with MetaMask. So I have MetaMask on my phone, and like, but on the computer, I click on MetaMask on the launcher, and it says you're already connected to Ethereum. But it's like I'm not logged in. Do you understand?
Yep.
Like even the launcher, like it is broken. Do you understand? So okay, I can, for example, like use another browser. Okay, and I think. Okay, but yes, like for example, like after January, like the game on Chrome ran like fucking shit.
Yep.
It's like totally lagging. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've attended some of the Decentraland AMAs the last few weeks, and one of them I've attended was the Catalyst team, and they've talked about how they're trying to fine-tune things and, you know, always trying to improve and increase things, but, you know, every time something changes, it causes potential bugs for other things. So it's a complicated thing for them to sort out, but I do know that they are working on it. But that's why it's up to us to find these creative solutions around that so that we're not 100% relying on that. I was going to say that if anybody had a ledger, that the client is the best way to run this game. Most of our people who don't really ever experience any bugs are running on the client. And it actually used to be the opposite. When Vrroomway first was released back in October, anybody who was on client was not having a good experience, and they could only have a good experience on browser. But now it seems like the tables have turned completely, where like people on the client literally have no issues. I know.
I will say that eventually it's going to I think that eventually could even flip. Like, you know, a certain year the browser is better, another year the launcher is better at this point. Like,
yeah.
Because even sometimes I just went to like the launcher on very like heavy scenes, and like after 5 minutes, like every 2 minutes I crashed pretty much.
Yep.
Like sometimes, but it did not happen on the browser.
Yeah, and I know Roachkiller, who's one of our champions, he plays on the client, and up until like I want to say like maybe the middle of January, the end of January, he was having consistent issues with pretty much every scene. But as of lately, these last few weeks that he's been more active again, he hasn't had any issues. So that tells me that they're constantly working on the client and updating it. And I have heard multiple people talk about the MetaMask issue with client, where it doesn't always let them log in, or doesn't let them log in at all, or some things like that. So I know that they're aware of that too. It's just hard because there's so many things to fix.
No, I technically use Coinbase Wallet, okay, but obviously like my account or my progress is on MetaMask, so
Sure.
And I use only MetaMask on one wallet, like,
Sure.
And I have many wallets, so it's like another backup, but it's whatever, it's fine anyways.
Yeah.
So honestly, I could just jump forward to another thing. With more like, I don't know, like what I would like to see in gameplay, okay, right? Like one suggestion.
What was the
You ready,
suggestion?
by the way? Sorry. Yes. If I can give another suggestion, just
sure.
gameplay-wise.
Yeah.
Yes. Which obviously is going to label me like as a terrorist, but I think the game kind of needs like, once we're racing, right? Like right now on the race you have turbos, right? So you have turbos on something that slows you down, right? But if you said you had, for example, like, let's just say like you had 2D scenes that could be like, let's just make, for example, right, like on the side of the capital, let's just say there is a bank, right? And so let's just say that every time there is the bank, and like there is a guy that comes out, right? Could be even a 2D image, right? And if you like go, how do you say, like you push him with the car, like you go on him, pretty much, like you earn turbo. Do you understand?
So kind of like reactive gameplay is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
again, I said with the bank because I think it's fitting, but it's like not that I want to kill any banker, any politician.
No, totally. And so reactive gameplay is definitely something that we want to create more of. And two of the ways that we're doing that is one with power-ups. So the power-ups you'll be able to like, for example, you'll be able to launch a projectile at one of the opponents that you're racing with, and it like stalls them, or it turns them around or something, to where you get an advantage ahead of them for a short time, as well as environmental effects. So we want to work out to where, like, if rocks are falling, so like example for the space map right now, the WAGMI track, when those asteroids are coming across the track right now, they don't do anything to you, you just drive straight through them. But eventually I want to work out to where those actually do cause an effect on you, like they either slow you down or like completely stop you for a few seconds as they're going over you, to create a more dynamicness. But something also too is we have a new game mode that we've talked about a few times, but it's going to be a drag racing game mode, to where it's a point A to point B sprint, like just a straight shot, and you do gear shifting. So like just like a manual car, when you get to a certain point, you shift gears and you go faster.
Okay, or like.
It'll be like a timing mechanism. So like if you do it while it's in the green zone of your speedometer, then you get an extra boost. If you miss it, then you get slowed down. And creating more game modes around that use that same kind of reactive gameplay. So that's a great suggestion.
Because obviously, like I personally, like if I see this game, because I like, for example, like on let's just say all games, right? Like you had this arcade stuff, right? Which is very like I don't know, you always said, for example, like, I mean, as I said before, like there are some, or especially like, okay, I talk about arcade games, but you have like, for example, on the screen, like, it's like people are moving in some way. Like you have 2D scenes that are happening, okay? So for example, like there's an animation. So it could be like, for example, like you have, again, like there is because I like, and I know maybe it's not going to be easy to understand, but I think it's easy. It's like, imagine that I am on the car, right? Mm-hmm. And like on the capital, right? There is the bank, okay? There is the hospital, and I would like really out there, obviously, even let's call it politically, right? Like again, it's going to create problems if I really want it, like I'm imagining it, okay? But it's like, let's just say there is the hospital, okay, and so there is the doctor, okay. The doctor is hand like a syringe, for example, okay. Like you put him down, okay, like I don't know, you lose the speed, okay. This guy wants to put him down, like he does an animation, do you understand? Or like the banker, okay? Like sort of very interactive, do you understand? And again, I would like it obviously like to be some super like out there shit, but I understand even if it's like it can be anything, okay?
So kind of like a 2D arcade experience.
Anything. Although I would like it, yes, yes, we understand. Like arcade like, do you understand? I mean, it's not easy to. Yes, like I don't know. Outside the capital, definitely I would like to have. And I'm just making the capital as an example of a race, okay? But like having buildings, and in these buildings there is some enemy that comes out, enemy or like someone that can help you, give you boosts. Like if you go on them, you understand?
Right. Yeah.
That's basically it.
Yeah, that's definitely
yes,
something.
I would like some super political shit. Okay, like there is the doctor with the syringe, and you put him down, and like you gain boost.
Right. So kind of like NPC enemies. I could totally dig that. That's definitely something that we can.
I would like super violent, but maybe they just my taste. You understand?
Sure, and I like that you included the 2D version of that or iteration of that because that would be a way to integrate it without having like a performance issue. And I like the idea of having just similar to the gear shifting where you have to gear shift at a certain time, being able to defeat an enemy at a certain time to give you a boost is a great idea too. So I love that. Definitely something we can explore.
Yeah. And then obviously again, because the Essential is a DAO, so and I'm not sure like you can get away with doing crazy stuff. Let's just put it this way.
Yeah, like, sure.
If your enemy cannot be fucking, I don't know, Joe Biden, like I don't.
Yeah, no, we would definitely keep it, appropriate and PC and friendly to everybody. Yeah, there's multiple ways. Just like with Dice Masters, they've got trolls and fantasy stuff like that. We could create similar things, but that are futuristic, like robots or something. Just similar to the gear shifting.
Yes, we're not trying to kill anyone. Okay, this is just for fun. It's a video game. It's not intended to. Okay, we're not terrorists. Yeah, I'm not.
Right.
Okay,
for sure.
So if the feds are listening, I don't know, Polyong maybe, could be Nenmio. Okay, guys, I'm not trying to make any violent movement, especially because I respect the Essential. Because the Essential, I don't know if they ban you if you do this stuff. If you do like very out there stuff.
Right. Yeah, we could totally make
PC,
it appropriate.
PC. Let's make it PC.
Yeah, for sure. Great suggestion.
Okay. So if you want a guy, okay. I mean, if anyone wants to say anything else, I think I'm done pretty much. Now I'm on the wedding and I'm watching. I don't know what's happening, but he can try to understand. Yeah.
For sure.
Thank you, Talag. Those are really good. That's a lot of thought that went into that, and I really love the idea of having bosses that you defeat as you race. Kind of reminds me of Diddy Kong Racing a little bit, which is one of my favorite racing games of all time. We're getting a question from GraphCal. It's actually a little bit of a suggestion. It's a really cool idea. It would be awesome if you could craft a generative skin. So when you click the button to craft it, I'm assuming this is like you might get something. It's kind of built on the spot.
Yep.
So maybe it's got certain rarity tiers, or maybe it's got certain colorways that are more rare than others, something like that, maybe.
So one thing that we have in the pipeline that is sort of along those lines, but not exactly, because the way that the SDK works, it would be very, very intensive to do something that is generative and like on the spot. However, a way to get around that is by introducing vehicle decorations. So something that we've been working on for a while, and still a few months out, but probably will be one of our biggest features that we release, is having a different decoration slots on every vehicle. So some vehicles may have specific kinds of decorations. Like for an example, like this Vroom that I'm in, the original Vroom. I imagine there'll be a slot on the thruster that will allow you to add a customization to it. So like if it had an extra boost thruster that could be attached to it. It'll be all visual to start, and then eventually we'll add perks to these decorations. But being able to just customize in that way, some of them we may be able to, customize the textures in a way. It won't be a complete reskin, but it would be, adapting the current textures that exist on the vehicles now. Some of those may be like specific dance emotes, like you might be able to unlock more dance emotes for a vehicle and equip certain ones, just like with avatar emotes. But really being able to customize and individualize your vehicles, because we do realize, eventually there's going to be hundreds, if not thousands, of people who play Vrroomway in the future, and we want to make sure that not everybody is in the same vehicle. There's not like 1,000 hovercrafts that are, well, there wouldn't be 1,000 because there's only 100 of those, but there wouldn't be 100 of those that are running around that look exactly the same. Same with the mythics. Like on Wednesday night, we had 4 machinas on the parcel at one time, which was amazing. And they all looked the same, which is cool. Like, they're all cool vehicles, but it would be even cooler if I could deck mine out in some flames and Brandon could put like an octopus decoration on his. Stuff like that to like individualize them and give even more player expression through that. So that's definitely something that we want to. It's a way around that generative randomness. Like, you could even randomize your decorations, and those would be in the forms of like NFTs, so not wearables, but like actual NFTs that we would put on OpenSea or something like that, a marketplace like that, and it would have its own market and stuff. There'd be some that we'd be able to unlock throughout the campaign or achievements and stuff to get them for free, or you could straight up buy the like more rare exclusive ones. But again, it's all about tapping into that player expression and that identity behind your vehicle, same as you would in real life. I've got some rhinestones on my steering wheel, I've got a steering wheel cover, things like that. I know Doc is very heavy into car customization, so definitely something that we want to explore.
Did you say you have a rhinestone steering wheel cover?
I said I have rhinestones on the emblem and then a steering wheel cover. The steering wheel cover is red fur.
Okay, good. It's funny you say that, though, because the rhinestone steering wheel covers, that's a no-no. And there's also rhinestone, there's like little rings that go around where you like stick the keyhole in.
Yeah.
So either one of those will actually deactivate your key, which will turn off your car while you're driving. So if you ever know a girl that has like a rhinestone covered steering wheel cover and they say their car acts weird, like...
Why does that happen? What?
Something about the Swarovski crystals or whatever, they block the RF on your key.
That's
or
sketchy.
It's not even the RF. It's like the chip inside that the car is programmed to that says the key is close by.
That's scary. I'm glad I just went with the emblem and got cheap Amazon crystals.
Oh yeah, emblem's fine. Do we have any other questions? I think that we've covered a lot. We definitely went over quite a bit. We got some stragglers here. We got 12 people on Parcel and probably the same here in Discord. Thank you everyone for sticking around and just hanging out with us. This is really cool.
Yeah. Give it just a few more seconds in case anybody has any other questions.
Sure. Did we want to talk about the possibility, I don't know if it's too early to talk about it. That's scary. But there's a possibility, I've heard hearsay, that maybe one day, possibly, potentially, maybe, there
Spit
could
it
be
out.
a chance that there could be a chance that we can what is it? Not gambling pink slips, but
Wagering?
Wagering.
Yes, so that is all smart contract work, and what wagering would look like is if let's say I have a 1 of 1, which I do, I just haven't integrated in the game yet, but let's say Doc wanted to set a bet with me, like he bets that he could beat me in a race, and we want to put a little wager on that bet. So I could offer up my vehicle, which I don't know that I would offer my 1 of 1 to him, because he beats me all the time. But if I wanted to wager mana, if I wanted to wager some materials or really anything that I have, I could wager. Vrroomway related, that is. So only Vrroomway wearables and vehicles and our resources. But we could do that where we could set up a wager, go have a one-on-one race in circuits or the drag racing game mode that we're coming out with. And basically, whoever wins that race gets the wager pool. So like if he wagers his vehicle and I wager mine, the winner walks away with both those vehicles. So it creates this whole like underground betting system of like, you know, the really competitive people who are trying to get out here and collect all the vehicles that they can, especially all the like uniques and stuff like that. And then there could be even like whole tournaments that are just one of ones versing each other for each other's one of one vehicles or something like that. Like it could get really, really dirty in the fun way.
And I definitely spilled the beans a little soon on this. So this is something experimental that our devs are just now starting to mess with. So this is not an official feature. But this is something that we've talked about, and also it probably maybe wouldn't be for mana. Maybe it would be, but that might be pushing a different kind of model with different legalities. So maybe that would happen, or maybe it would just be for NFTs and tokens, and who knows, maybe power-ups too would be cool. Coins, yeah.
For sure. Yeah, all of it is 100% experimental, and we're just trying to see what is possible and what we can do with smart contracts to make the game more fun.
Cool. And that would be cool for me, for me to be able to say, you know, come on out, meet me on the track, beat me, and I'll give you, I don't know, Beta Wings, or Vroom Vroom, or something cool. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Maybe a racer jacket, hint hint.
Or even, I mean, maybe we even make it so that players can do whatever they want. Like, Future Ghost wants to, you know, put up one of his custom wearables, and I put up a backwards hat, and we, you know, duke it out just for fun.
Yeah, for sure. Many cool things to come.
Absolutely. We're still building. We're still doing it consistently. I think we've covered everything, and I think we've exhausted all of our questions.
Amazing. Okay. Well, like I said, continue to be active these last 4 days of the month, and you too could have a free Diamond Vroom, which is our DG collab vehicle. That is dropping on March 3rd. And then, like I said, whatever is left over from the batch after the airdrop will be put on the marketplace, on the primary marketplace. So if you miss out, then you can definitely still catch one there. And then also keep an eye out on our announcements for more Season 2 announcements, as well as Fashion Week announcements. And I just want to highlight that Doc did create a new suggestions channel in the public channels. So if there are ideas that you didn't feel comfortable sharing tonight, or that you think of later, or even when you're playing the game, go ahead and throw them in that channel. And our whole core team keeps a close eye on all these channels, so we will see it. You can see that I've already reacted to some of them. So yeah, just throw them in there, and if it warrants a community poll, then we'll do that. I will let you know that if you are a mythic and unique racer, then you will be seeing some polls coming up here in the next few weeks that are really important. And if you don't have a mythic or a unique, know that there are some things that we allow those people to vote on that the general public does not get to vote on. Now we've seen, you know, we put a few polls out for the general public, like the speed boost one. And we're working on integrating that change, but we want the players' feedback to dictate the future of this game, because again, like we say all the time, we're making this game for the community, not for ourselves. So yeah, we value everybody's feedback that's always shared, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you. And a quick reminder, no multi-accounting. We do have our multi-account sniffer. We appreciate everyone putting the time into playing our game, but we want to protect it from any kind of exploiting. So if you do happen to have multiple accounts, please stop using them. Nobody's in trouble, but please help us keep this game clean and fun for other players. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for joining us and participating. And we look forward to next month's AMA and seeing you out there on the racetrack. So thanks again from me, Dr. Drip, and Nikki Fuego as well. And that's all we have for tonight.
Amazing. Yep. Thank you guys. Appreciate everybody coming out. Look forward to seeing you on the track.